So fast! I'm going so fast! Does game mode actually make your system go faster or perform better? Today we're going to have a look at 5 big AAA games on iPhone 15 Pro and see if it actually makes any difference. But what the heck even is game mode? When you launch a game, it automatically turns on and aims to minimize background activity to sustain constantly high frame rates. You can also turn it off mid-game using Control Center. Game mode also reduces audio latency with AirPods and makes wireless game controllers more responsive. But I'm not looking into that in this video, only pure frame rates. Our first game to look at is Stranding. On iPhone 15 Pro, the game runs at a locked 1561 by 720, 30 FPS and low graphics. However, you can mod the game using a Mac to play at different settings. See a video from Andrew Tsai in the video description on how to do this. In this test, I'm playing at 720p, low, but I've capped the FPS at 60. In this first scene, I want to take a look at how just exploring the open world goes between game mode being on and off. Obviously, the A17 Pro chip isn't capable of getting anywhere near 60 FPS with this title, even at low settings. However, I'm seeing a little bit of a difference when using game mode. When on, the game isn't going below 30 FPS nearly as often, while when game mode is off, it can often go down to the low 20s. What about during more challenging scenes, such as a beached things encounter? Well, the FPS remains a little improved with game mode enabled, but it's still not hitting over 30 FPS. I wouldn't class this performance as much more playable, but it's evident that an improvement of some sort is going on here. Up next is Resident Evil 4. On iPhone 15 Pro, the game is locked at 1560 by 720, 30 FPS and low graphics. However, I've modded the game in the Files app and capped the FPS at 60. The first scene is at the very start of the game, leading up to the village. This gives us a nice comparison between game mode being on and off. As you can see, there is a bit of a difference here. Still, the game isn't able to hit the 60 FPS target, even at low settings. But with game mode on, it's now not dropping below 30 FPS in this section of the game. Whereas with game mode off, it can drop below 30 FPS, and below 20 at times. Showing just the opening of the game is misleading, as the FPS in this one struggles big time on iPhone 15 Pro during big shooting encounters. As you can see, the FPS in this part of the game is about the same for both game mode being on and off. You might be disappointed, but you can't expect miracles when the game was already struggling to run on iPhone 15 Pro before game mode was even introduced on iOS. Moving on, we have Resident Evil Village. Unlike RE4 and Stranding, RE Village allows you to manually choose the resolution and advanced graphical options. In this video, I'm playing at 1560 by 720, prioritize performance preset, and metal effects is on quality. I'm going to be honest with you, unlike the other AAA games in this video, I didn't notice much of a difference with game mode in RE Village. It still saw some noticeable FPS spikes with game mode enabled, which was a shame. I was really hoping it would be able to always get over 30 FPS in this scene. This is pretty early in the game where you need to find a house with the red chimney. It's a good part to show as it includes a range of benchmark elements. Some casual walking through the village. This is where the FPS can be a little higher. Light combat with a lichen or a lichen, whatever these monsters are called. And as you can see, it's pretty much the same results. Then a combat encounter with a lot of these monsters, and it's basically the same performance. And here we are ending with an armored lichen or lichen monster, and it's no difference really. Here we have Assassin's Creed Mirage. AC Mirage on iPhone 15 Pro runs at a locked 1398 by 645 and 30 FPS. You can also enable low, medium, and high graphics. For this test, we are just going to look at medium graphics. First, we are going to take a look at this horse riding sequence where I'm returning back to the Anbar town. The benefit of game mode is that it's providing much better frame pacing. However, this is outside of the city. When passing through inside the city, the frame pacing isn't perfect, but the FPS remains locked to 30 with game mode on. With it off, it's going a little below the 30 FPS target. Where the iPhone 15 Pro struggles with AC Mirage is during big combat sequences. Here I am trying to assassinate Sarah and then take out her guards. It was hard for me to replicate what I'm doing in this scene due to the fact that I'm just absolutely terrible at combat in this game, so keep that in mind, but the results should be similar. Anyway, based on my testing, the difference with game mode enabled and disabled during these scenes is very small, and basically there's no difference. Our last game to look at is a fairly older AAA release, Alien Isolation. To give us a good look at frame rates, I'm taking a look at performance mode in this game, which targets 60 FPS and a lower resolution of about 800p, although it's hard to confirm this as the game might use dynamic resolution. Anyway, it's honestly hard for me to say if game mode makes a difference with this one. I tested mission 15, The Descent, maybe 5 times with game mode on and off, and this is during this sequence where this ship is like exploding and stuff, and every time the FPS would drop in different parts of this scene. So it was hard for me to say if it's better or the same or whatever. However, earlier on in mission 15, I did notice a bit of an improvement when using the flamethrower against the xenomorph. Instead of dropping down to 40 FPS, it would stick to the 60 FPS target. So that is something. I also wanted to do a quick test with 2 games to see if game mode improves performance when you have numerous apps open in the background. First, Death Stranding. As you can see, I have Wreckfest, RE Village, AC Mirage, RE4, Alien Isolation, the App Store, Maps, Safari, and Photos open in the background. It's very small, but we're seeing a few extra frames with game mode enabled at times. And here we have RE4. Again, as you can see, I have Death Stranding, Wreckfest, RE Village, AC Mirage, Alien Isolation, the App Store, Maps, Safari, and Photos open in the background. Again, it's very small, but we're seeing a few extra frames with game mode enabled at times. So that was game mode on the iPhone 15 Pro. What are you guys thinking? Are you impressed? Are you disappointed? Look, it does more than I actually thought it would. I thought it wouldn't really do anything because I've tested game mode on a number of Macs and it does pretty much nothing, really. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really do that much. But it actually does improve frame rates a teeny bit on iPhone 15 Pro. And while Apple might say that this is a good AAA gaming system, it's not really there yet. And if game mode can provide just a few extra frames, then it's definitely worth it. And it's free. It's enabled automatically when you update to iOS 18, which will come later in the year. Obviously, I'm just on the beta or developer program. It also makes a teensy bit of a difference with keeping a frame rate consistent when having multiple apps in the background, which we saw with Death Stranding and RE4, having some massive AAA games in the background and just some typical things like the App Store and photos. So it does make a little bit of a difference there. And this is just the developer or the beta version of game mode so far, so things should improve as we get closer to the final release of iOS 18. Anyway, my name is Stewie, and thanks for watching. I don't know why I'm doing that, to be honest.